Hey everyone, so this is going to be a really quick video. I have been getting a few different requests from people and friends and family on Facebook and Instagram asking how I tie my bows and my turbans on my head. So I'm going to do a quick tutorial really quickly. So please excuse my hair because it is a mess, which is why I wore this on my head today. I'm about to redo it. My Bantu knots to continue to transition my relaxed hair into natural hair. So be sure you guys definitely stay tuned for that video if you're ever interested on how I got these curls and look of this. Let me know and I can do a tutorial on this as well. So I'm going to show you guys how I tie my bow first using the scarf I just had on. So this is about the length of the scarf, okay? So not very long at all. So what I'm gonna do is basically fold this scarf in half, maybe not as quite, maybe a quarter of the way down. So about that, because you still want some width. So now that you've got that folded, you're gonna take your scarf and put it towards you, flip it towards you, and have the half that you folded, not the loose end, but the half on the back of your head, and make sure it's kind of even. Your ends are even as you're doing this. Okay, you're going to basically tie a knot like you do with a shoe. Okay, so you want to find a place to position your bow on your head. So if you want it up at the top or if you want it kind of sideways, find exactly where you want it positioned and kind of tie it off to wherever you want it positioned. Not super tight. Don't give yourself a headache because you will if you tie your scarf too tight on your head. So once you've got that going, you've got basically like a shoestring, a tie like that on the top of your head, and it's a little bit of your hair exposed, and that's fine because I'm going to show you how to tuck that. So if you have hair like me, be careful you don't tie your hair up in your scarf when you're doing this. All right, so now this is the bow. So with your bow, you basically are going to tie your scarf how you tie a shoestring. So I am just creating a bow. And once you've pulled it kind of tight, not super tight because you may want to go through and adjust the bow, but make sure that it is the size you want. If something is too long or too big, you can go through and adjust and by pulling the ends and then tighten it again. Okay, so from there, you are going to, you can start spreading out your bow if you want. Now I'm going to go ahead. Now this part that's kind of, you look at the scarf, you can see how there's the two that are hanging. One is kind of in the, like off to the side, and one is like on the bottom of the scarf. So if you see that, so how this is kind of like coming out of the bottom and this is kind of coming off to the side. This one I'm going to take and flip upward like that, and I'm going to fan it out a little bit to cover the top of my head. So I'm going to tuck this remaining portion in the hole that we've created. And you don't have to tuck it in tight or anything. So it can be kind of loose. Alright, so that's going to cover up some of your hair. This half, you're going to basically do the same exact thing, but you're going to come from a different direction. This is backwards looking at it in this. So we're going to come this way, and again, I'm going to pull my hair out some, and we are going to do the same exact thing. So we're going to tuck all of this remaining, and sometimes what you can do is take this and kind of fold it down so it's not as much to tuck down in the hole that we created. So again, in the hole that we created, I'm going to tuck all the excess down, and then that way you won't really be able to see your hair. Okay. All right, so it is kind of loosey-goosey. Some people are OCD about that, and you can play with, the width of your, that part if you want it to not be as loosey. So now, that's basically how I create my bow. Now, you can pull your ears out if you want, or you can keep your ears in, whichever is your preference. So now I'm going to fan out my bow and just make my bow fuller. And voila. that is how I got my bow. Sorry, ignore my phone, y'all. That is how you get your bow, okay? And again, you can position it in the top of your head. You could put it off to the side a little bit. My hair is like tied in this. This is what you want to be careful not to do. Your hair will get stuck in your bow. And you can kind of twist it to the side some and kind of have it off to the side a little bit. And then that is how you get your bow. Okay? So again, you can tuck your ears. Make sure you know if you do expose your edges that they look good and they're all down. So that's kind of what it looks like on the side. Okay, and then the back is for the most part pretty much covered. You cover the back of your head. It's kind of self-explanatory. So I won't really turn around. And then just so you can see the top, that's what the top looks like. It's pretty much covered from you tucking. So that is how you get your bow. All right. Excuse the junky room. I'm in the process of moving things around and redoing my room. So that is how you get your bow. I hope that was helpful. I hope y'all like it. This is pretty much how I tie all of my scarves. And, you know, practice makes perfect. I had to do this a few times to really, you know, like it and, you know, really like the size of my bow. And you don't have to make your bow this big. Remember, if you want to make it smaller, you're more than welcome to. I just like a bigger size bow. And you can keep playing with it to fan it out and really get that shape that you're looking for. Again, you can kind of twist it around and position it to be kind of sideways if you want to. You can pretty much do whatever you want, you know, your preference. You can play with it and kind of do your own thing. Okay? All right, so that is the bow. So now I'm going to show you guys how I do my turbans with the knot in the front of my head. All right, so I'm going to just undo my bow. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how I tie a turban on the top of my head. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, this is where I pretty much have like a ball right here on my head. So I will show you guys how I do that as well. This is the scarf that I'm using. Again, it is from Charming Charlie. I know that my store and West Cobb does still have this scarf in stock. So if you like it, you can probably go get it. This scarf is really, really wide, like super wide. There is a lot of width to this scarf. So I'm going to try. So from this point, I'm going to try to really try to show y'all how wide this scarf is. So if you saw the bow, you saw how short that one is. This one is really wide. So I'm going to half this scarf. And I like the wider ones better for that style of turban on my head because I like how full the turban is. So once you half it, you are going to basically half it again. So you should fold it over 3 times if it's this wide. And again, you don't have to use a scarf this wide. I just do because I like how full that part of the turban is. So again, with the bow, you want to make sure when you take this that it is even in the back of your head. So you have, and you make sure when you're doing it, you're cleaning it up. You don't want all this to be showing. So I'm just going to fold this over a little bit more like that. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this down a little bit in the back. And I'm going to basically tie and do exactly what we did with the bow. I'm going to tie it like a shoestring. So go up onto your head to the top. Okay. And this one I do tie a little bit tighter because you want your turban to be nice and full. So make sure, again, when you're doing this, you don't tie your hair into the scarf, okay? So I'm just creating my knot again, and I'm pulling tightly to create the turban. I'm just going to pull down on my hair so it's not stuck in the thing. Okay, so now we've got these two ends. So we are just going to start twisting these two like this. Just taking them and twisting, twisting around one another like you do your hair. So once you have got them twisted, you're going to continue to coil this tightly And once you go so tight, the thing will start coiling itself and kind of position itself. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and go around one more time and tuck. Okay. There, around once, around again. And now all of this, we are just going to tuck in the turban like this. I'm just pushing it up and I'm tucking it. It's coming through, but that is fine. So I'm just going to go through and pull my hair out. And that is how I tie my turban. So at the top of my head, you can see I have some hair exposed, but around the back, it looks like this and like that. And you can pull your ears out if you want to and have it look like that. So that is how I tie my turban. Everyone has a different way. Feel free to YouTube some more and kind of see other people's ways of doing it, but that is how I do mine for those of you that were interested. So that's what it looks like. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Please stay tuned. There'll be more videos to come in the future. Have a good night.